welcome back to the channel. If you're returning to the channel, then thank you, welcome back. If you are new to the channel and you want to know what you will gain from watching the channel, I'm going to go over how the channel is broken up into 3 different categories. Those categories are, number 1, gaining new perspectives in art. This will deal with critiquing art and looking at different art museums. Number 2, techniques on how to become an artist yourself. So I will show you different techniques with drawing, painting, graphic design, sculpture, and photography. 3, surviving your classroom as an art educator. I'm going to give you ideas that I had wished someone had told me my first year of teaching. So I would like to share what I know as an art educator with all of you. So those are different ideas about possibly classroom management, pacing your curriculum, and lesson ideas. This channel is for all age groups and anyone who loves art as much as I do. So thanks for joining, guys. If you want to see the next art lesson, hit that bell below. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am going to do another art lesson with you. This one is for anyone who loves to get their hands messy and just kind of dipping your hands in different paint with using apples. So this is a good lesson for elementary students, anyone in kindergarten, preschool, 1st grade, and 2nd grade really love this lesson. At the end of each lesson, I am going to just leave a little bit of advice or a tip I can leave you as another teacher that I've used in my classroom. So this is called the Apple Project. So the Apple Project. This can be extended off of a lot of different directions when you're in your classroom. So basically you cut up the apple in many different slices. And then you'll put each plate on each table for your students. If you're doing this at home as just a creative project to do, then that's great too. So you're going to take the slices of apple and you're just going to dip them in the different colors. I always try to set out really 2 or 3 colors for the students to kind of experiment with as they are dipping the apples in the paint. Now, this is very messy, so you probably want the kids to wear aprons, and you probably want to make sure that they don't have their finest clothes on for picture day. So if they do, and it's picture day, then definitely grab the aprons to put on them. So if you wait till the end of the video, I am going to share just a interesting tip that I can give you as an educator on classroom advice. So basically, you would let them take an apple, dip it in the paint, kind of just move it around, and then you give them a big piece of paper. I do tend to give large pieces of paper to elementary students. It allows them to really kind of explore the frame of this paper and not feel like, oh, I have to stay in this confined 8.5 by 11 sheet that the teacher has given me. It's better to give them a bigger sheet. They will probably stick to the activity longer, and that kind of works for you as an educator as well. It'll keep them engaged longer. They're more likely to mix their materials more, and they're more likely to, like I said, just stay engaged longer in general for your class period. So you dip it in the paint, and then you just put it onto the piece of paper. Let them dip this multiple times. Now you can also have them mix their colors. They may ask you, what color does green and blue make? Your response, instead of giving them the answer, say, why don't you try it? Really art is about exploring, so let them have that exploration. That's my advice. So is the best advice I can give. Sometimes in art, it's not always good to give the black and white answer. Sometimes it's good to let the student kind of figure it out on their own and then be completely surprised in the end. That is when art becomes really fun. Give them 3 or 4 plates, possibly on their own, so they can take the same apple and then dip it in another color, and it won't upset a student next to them. And then they'll at the same time see what color they end up making when they mix those 2 colors. So then let them press it down and then see what kind of print it makes. Now these get very dirty after a while, so if as you're watching your room, as you're walking around and you see that the apples start to get just drenched in too many colors, then have them dispose of the apple at that point. It's always good when you're teaching elementary, keep one of these bins just on their table, and they can kind of put it in there without walking around the classroom and asking you, where do I put this item, with paint all over them. So, once again, it's just dipping the apple in the paint, moving it around, and then placing it on the paper. So when I said that this project can branch off into many different directions, I mean exactly that. You can talk about different types of apples. This is a great project for teaching during the fall season when it's apple picking season. I always try to engage the students in their experiences on maybe picking apples and going with their family to the nearest apple farm. And then we extend off that conversation by talking about all the different types of apples. And then that conversation ends up going to what can you make with apples? Apple pie. So the kids will take it from there at that point. But I do think elementary teaching, it is a lot of fun, as long as the key is to keep them engaged the whole time, which can be hard, but definitely a lot of fun. So I would say just let them fill up this entire paper and let it be completely random on whatever they create in the end. So I would say my advice is don't have them try to make a certain form out of the apple, because that can seem really daunting and difficult. Just have them dip it in the different colors and then create an interesting design on their own. Now, if they decide as a student they want to create a form out of that print in the end, because they really got the technique down, then let them do it. But I would say don't enforce that. Because it's about having fun. If you enjoyed this lesson, I hope you can bring it into your own classroom if it helps. If you're just needing to do an activity at home, this is definitely a fun one. Get a little messy for 30 minutes. Go to your kitchen, get an apple, guys. All right, meet me in the next art lesson. If you like the content, go ahead and hit that bell below. Don't forget that I did tell you that I was going to mention something that's handy to have in the classroom when you're teaching elementary students is definitely wipes. So that's my little advice at the end. Keep some wipes on every table in your classroom for students. Then they're not rushing to the sink with paint all over their hands. You can keep a trash can next to their table, have them wipe after the activity is done, throw it in the trash can, and then call each table to wash their hands. Thanks, guys.